Hello again, this is Dr. Keith with another quick wellness news nugget. Hope you're doing good today. Our nugget today is from November the 18th, which was yesterday. And this nugget is from naturalnews.com and it's entitled Jeopardy Host Alex Trebek is being killed by chemotherapy. Hundreds of thousands die in America every year from toxic chemo drugs. So again, as a quick wellness news nugget, if this is your first time listening, my name is Dr. Keith Henry. I am a naturopathic practitioner. Uh, and what I do is I take a article that has come out. It's a quick wellness news nugget. I take an article that's come out during the past 7 days, sometimes the very day that it's come out, and I give my perspective on that article in a quick wellness news nugget as we go over it. And so this article is from naturalnews.com and it's entitled Jeopardy host Alex Trebek is being killed by chemotherapy. Hundreds of thousands die in America every year from toxic chemo drugs. And the gist of the article is essentially that Alex Trebek, who's come out recently and said that he's been diagnosed with fourth stage pancreatic cancer. Now I've mentioned a previous quick wellness news nugget when an article had come out recently when he came out maybe a month or so ago, and talking about how he was prepared to die, and some people like, no, don't say that. And I mentioned then that the pancreatic cancer is a serious cancer. It is a serious cancer, and the life expectancy after being diagnosed with it for most people is relatively short, probably about 6 months. But the article says during a recent episode of his long-running game show Jeopardy, host Alex Trebek was brought to tears by a contestant who, rather than answer a question correctly during the final Jeopardy round, instead wrote, quote, "What is, we love you, Alex," in honor of Trebek's battle against stage 4 pancreatic cancer, which the 79-year-old recently announced publicly. And the article goes on to say that reports indicate that Trebek is nearing the end after having undergone multiple rounds of chemotherapy, which we know is a cancer industry go-to that wrecks a patient's immune system while supposedly killing cancer cells. Trebek thought he was done with his chemo treatments, only to be told that he still needed a few more. So this is the thing. He did come out and he thought he pretty much given a clean bill of health. Well, not a clean bill of health, but he was thinking that he wasn't going to have to go through any more chemotherapy treatments. But the problem, as this article points out, is that chemo is a killer. It kills cancer cells supposedly, but it does not kill. It also kills immune system cells. It essentially wipes out your immune system. Not only that, one of the side effects of chemotherapy is cancer. So it is not essentially a cure. The body cannot be healed by giving it poison. For the most part, essentially drugs don't cure. Not for the most part, but they don't. The article goes on to quote Trebek he says, quote, we thought I was finished with chemo. He said, but it was a bit premature and certainly over optimistic. While he also says he's not afraid of dying, Trebek says that many people with the same condition are calling him for comfort and he's not quite sure what to tell them. And the article goes on to give a brief story of a woman that called him crying, who was about 10 years younger than Trebek, who had been diagnosed with the same pancreatic cancer. And the article goes on to point out how there's absolutely no doubt in our minds. It says that Trebek is a good guy who means well, but like so many others, the Jeopardy host is under the false impression that toxic chemo treatments are his only option. And these treatments, he openly admits, are taking a huge toll on his health. And then they quote Mr. Trebek saying, quote, he says, I will keep doing it as long as my skills do not diminish, and they have started to diminish. I am slurring my words, my tongue doesn't work as well as it used to, and the chemo has caused many sores in my mouth. It makes it difficult for me to speak and enunciate properly. So here's one of the things where a lot of people don't realize, many people will begin to realize that have gone through chemotherapy or who have loved ones that have gone through it. This is one of those cases that that chemo is definitely, the side effects can be worse than the disease itself, and chemo can kill you. And in most cases, chemo hastens, at the very least, the death of most cancer patients, either right away or within a short period of time. The article goes on to point out, we sincerely feel for Trebek, who is suffering from a disease that, as we've reported in the past, can take several decades to show up on tests, and once it does, pancreatic cancer is often too far along to be successfully treated using conventional methods like chemo, which kick an already distressed patient while he's down. As explained by Mike Adams, the article says the Health Rangers, some successful strategies for staving off pancreatic and many other forms of cancer is to load your body up on vitamin D, as well as immune boosting nutrients like selenium, omega-3 fatty acids, and zinc. I would definitely add vitamin C. Not to mention those important eating a healthy diet, as it points out here, getting enough sleep, getting enough exercise, drinking enough water, those fundamental things. And so again, just understand, as this article goes on to point out, as it turns out, hundreds of thousands of cancer patients have died, not necessarily from cancer, but from chemo treatments. And sadly, it appears that Alex Trebek could very soon become yet another of these statistics. And so again, the chemotherapy, again, and does definitely hasten the death of many people who, if they did nothing at all, would oftentimes live longer than if they had taken the chemotherapy. So again, if you're listening to this, if you have cancer, been diagnosed with cancer, or you know someone who has, at least consider some other alternatives. The medical industry, especially the pharmaceutical industry and the AMA, they don't want you to do this. They have influenced politicians to make laws you can only get doctors to treat you with radiation, chemotherapy, or surgery. But it's your body, it's your health. So take your health into your own hands. Do your research, seek out alternative therapies. That it is my opinion that you will be better served. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take care.